Right, welcome back. Let's cross over to Parliament now, where the Energy Minister designate Boakye Agyarko has been facing the Parliament vetting committee.
Yes, I am aware.
How much of it was paid?
Mr. Chairman, I can get the BDC reports and submit it to you, but what I recall is that when I met the BDCs and looked at the report, there was an outstanding of about 156 million. There was another 10 million in dispute because of reconciliation issues.
Are you aware that payments to the BDCs were made on the basis of an audit conducted and the responsibility shared between the Ministry of Finance and the Bank of Ghana in respect of the outstanding liabilities?
Yes, I've seen such a report.
And will you be fair to admit that you inherited a restructured plan to service the BDC and the entire energy sector debt using ESLA as guarantee and other receivables from all the state-owned enterprises?
Mr. Chair, in my earlier submissions, I said that yes, the VRA restructuring and the other debts have started and are proceeding. However, I was of the opinion that if you have facing a debt of 3 billion and you not getting to the crux of the matter, and I was suggesting that we ought to look at a bolder arrangement in order to quickly bring this merry-go-round to an end.
Chairman, I'm only suggesting to the nominee that you are inheriting a restructured program of servicing the energy sector debt with only some slight modifications as submitted. Is that the case?
Mr. Chairman, there is a portion of the debt that is restructured. The first phase was about a little over 400 million cedis. The second phase is stalled, going nowhere fast. But I will come back to the point and say that if, on assuming the position of Minister of Energy, the final audit says I owe $4 billion and 500 million has been restructured, I am still out there on the limb for another 3.5 billion. My worry is not, and the suggestion I made is that this piecemeal approach, however good it is, will not resolve the matters very quickly for the sector to free itself and come back to optimum performance.
Thank you. Is it not the case that SOEs today are using their own receivables to settle their own SOE debts, and Gridco is a beneficiary of this restructuring initiative, which has been ongoing before your nomination?
Mr. Chairman, a lot of the agencies are doing same. A lot of the agencies who have not had their budget amounts, allocations released to them, are using internally generated funds, I believe, to get along. So a lot of efforts are being made. I come back to my central point that from my banking background, I do not think that the piecemeal approach we are having now is going to be helpful, and that we need to take a different approach in order to come to grips with it.
Thank you, Honorable. That's noted. But is it not the case that the first restructuring was done with the energy sector levy? Does this government intend to revise that levy?
Mr. Chairman, we will revise the levy.
You will revise the energy sector levy?
We will revise the levies for the simple fact that we do not have this. If we rely on the present tax fiscal space to deal with this matter, we will not get very far. If we rely on the local banks who have exceeded their single line obligors in order to refi the problem we have, we will not get very far.
What kind of revision will you do with ESLA? Share with us.
Pardon me?
What revision will you do to the energy sector levy, upwards or downwards, or completely repeal it like you said?
We will start by decreasing it.
Decreasing the energy sector, a review downwards.
Yeah, review downwards. And as we finish the financial engineering of the non-recourse approach, then it may be necessary not to have it altogether, or use it as part of the dedicated stream of revenues to whatever is left of it, dedicated stream of revenue to service the 10 to 15-year tenure.
Are you aware that part of the restructuring which is ongoing is private placement, and therefore what you seek to do is to add domestic bonds and probably that of non-residents? Is that the case?
Pardon me, I didn't hear your question well.
The restructuring which is ongoing is private placement, and you intend with some modification to expand it to include other investors. But the energy sector levy remain a critical guarantee as collateral for that, and that the private banks of Ghana are already benefiting from this.
Sorry if I am belaboring the point. The restructuring that is currently being done, in my estimation, in my professional estimation, is woefully inadequate. Good intention, but woefully inadequate. A private placement, that is why I use the word non-recourse financing, limited or full, so that we can get the space, not on the books of records of the agencies and the sector players or the local banks. As I review the single line obligor of local banks, I am frightened that the banks mentioned herein are all on their way to receivership, and we can't allow that to happen in an economy.
May I now take you to rural electrification, where one of our colleagues earlier on indicated that Ghana today is at 72% compared to South Africa. What will be your blueprint of a roadmap? When do we expect to attain 80, 85, 90, 200% envisaged under the 4-year mandate of the administration of which you are part?
Mr. Chairman, I will not prejudge the matter. I have not assumed office. I don't see all the data. Once I see all the data, I'll be able to make a judgment.
Will you describe the energy sector levy as a nuisance tax?
I will not say so.
Boakye Agyarko there, his Minister Designate for Energy, obviously making a great impression of his competences there. We wish him well. This is still news at 10. We have more news for you. Please stay.